Well, good evening once again. I still remain Raphael Arowosafe. So in this video, we shall be discussing ICT IGCSE past question and mark scheme. So in this video, you are going to see 2017 past question and the mark scheme. So I picked just only 2 questions, then and the marking guide for that 2 questions. So now let me move my slide to the next slide. Yes, as you can see on my screen, ICT paper 1 May-June 2017. The first question: complete the following sentences using the most appropriate word from the list below. Then you can see all the words given: hard disk drive, hardware, microphone, OCR, printer, scanner, screen, software, speaker, and virus. So A, the physical components of a computer are called dash. That is 1 mark. B, the programs and data of computer are called dash. C, the device used to input sound is called a dash. D, the device used to store data is called a dash. So student is expected to pick from the listed word above to answer these 4 questions. Then number 2, tick whether the following are examples of impact printers or non-impact printers. So you can see it on the table. So student is expected to tick only by following the instruction of the question. Does matrices printer? So the student will tick whether it is an example of impact or non-impact printer. Then inkjet printer. So student is expected to pick whether it is an example of impact printer or non-impact printer. So the same thing applicable to laser printer and 3D printer. So this is an example of paper 1 theory. Paper 1 theory. We still have some questions where the student can explain, where the student can evaluate. So, and if the student is evaluating, if they ask student to evaluate or to explain, that one does not mean that that student should be writing like writing an essay. What the examiner is expecting from that particular student is to put down his or her point. In fact, if possible, the student can itemize his or her point. So now let us look at the mark scheme for these 2 questions. You can see how they analyze the mark scheme. So for question 1A, so it means that the answer for question 1A is hardware. So and 1 mark is assigned to this question. B, the answer is software. So 1 mark is also assigned to this question. C, the answer is microphone. So 1 mark is also assigned to this particular question. Then 1D, which is the last question here. So hard disk drive is the answer to this question. So 1 mark is also assigned to this question. So if student can be able to answer all the question correctly, that student will get 4 marks completely. Now let us look at the second question. Now this is the mark scheme for the second question. So dot matrix printer, you can see that they tick in part. So it means that dot matrix printer is an example of in-part printer. Then inkjet printer, so they tick non-impact. So it means that inkjet printer is an example of a non-impact printer. Then laser jet printer, so they tick non-impact. So it means that laser printer is an example of non-impact printer. Then the last one here, which is 3D printer, so they tick non-impact. So that is the answer. So it means that 3D printer is an example of non-impact printer. So the total mark assigned to this question is just 2 marks. It's just 2 marks. But the examiner is expecting 4 answers from a student here. So look at the analysis of the assessment. Look at the analysis of the assessment. Let me show you very well. So if students answer all the questions correctly, the student will get 2 marks. If students answer the question and get 2 or 3 correctly, so it means that student will get 1 mark. Then the last one, if student answer the question and at the end of everything the student got just only 1 or 0, so the student will get 0 mark. So that is the analysis of this particular question. So this is how it's going to be marked. So you have to take note of all this anytime you are teaching your student as ICT tutor. I mean IGCSE ICT tutor. So by the time you start taking IGCSE ICT, you will get to know more about the mark scheme. Thank you and God bless you.